So I got this question on one of my videos on TikTok, and I had to bring on the podcast because I cannot have a stronger opinion about this if I wanted to. So let me just pull it up and I'll read exactly what it was. Okay, so someone commented, I don't know what the video was actually about, the original one, but it must have been something about endometriosis, because she wrote, I have endometriosis. I'm keto or carnivore, always have been. I'll have cheat days, but not during IUI. I had my third IUI and still nothing. Okay. So one of the absolute worst things that you could do if you have endometriosis is be carnivore. I don't recommend keto either, but carnivore is one of the worst things you could do for any person walking on this planet. Okay. Having an all animal based diet is robbing your body of fiber that you need, especially with endometriosis. Again, literally, especially if you're any person on this planet, but specifically we're talking about endometriosis with this. Endometriosis is an inflammatory disorder, right? So you need to be focusing on anti-inflammatory foods, which are plant foods. Not only are those plant foods going to help reduce your inflammation, but when you have endometriosis, you have excess estrogen, which is what is causing the really heavy periods, painful periods, cramps, all of those, the long periods sometimes that come with endometriosis is excess estrogen. In order to, one of the ways I should say, to flush excess estrogen out of your body is by having a lot of fiber, so that your body, like the fiber, can latch onto the excess estrogen, form it into poop so you could eliminate it out of the body. If you're having an all carnivore diet, you are not having literally any fiber. So there is no way that your body is going to mop up not only excess hormones, but excess toxins, excess metabolic waste, package it all up in poop and flush it out. So especially for endometriosis, this is a major, major issue. And for PCOS, for literally anybody on the planet, we need fiber. Fiber is what prevents like colon cancer. Again, it grabs onto excess hormones, toxins, metabolic waste to get it out of your body. It is so, so, so important. Everybody is focused on fucking protein, which is why a lot of people are doing this carnivore diet, but you are missing such a bigger piece to the puzzle. And if you do have endometriosis, please do not be carnivore or keto. One of the best things you can do for endometriosis is having a largely plant-based diet, because it is so anti-inflammatory. It's filled with fiber, which is going to help get rid of that excess estrogen. It's also going to coat your stomach. It's going to help break everything down. You're going to be pooping more regularly, so you can get all those toxins out of your body. You can get the excess estrogen out of your body. With an all carnivore diet, especially if it's not organic, you're having excess hormones in there, which is just exacerbating the excess estrogen. Dairy as well. It has hormones, has estrogen in and of itself. That's going to up those levels even more. So of course, I don't know with this specific person, 3 IUIs didn't work. There's so many other factors that go into it, not just her being carnivore, but there could be a sperm issue. I have no idea, is she eating, she's obviously not having protein, fiber, and healthy fats with every meal because she's carnivore, but there's, nutrient deficiencies that could be impacting it. There's so many different things. But largely, I feel like there's such a huge emphasis on meat as the only protein source, first of all, and really a huge lack in the fiber world. And when you do have an inflammatory disorder like endometriosis, like I said, I've helped so many women who have endometriosis, and what supports them the most is having a lot of plants. I have other podcast episodes on this too. We can link below. That where I've talked, I've interviewed people with it. I've done solo episodes on it. And it's also not just about, okay, just eat a bunch of plants. Like there's always a strategic way to do it. You always want to do it in a way that's actually supporting your blood sugar regulation. And this doesn't mean that you can't have any meat. You can have animal products. I would just really switch that ratio and not just have all meat and no fiber. That is so negatively impacting your overall health, not just your endometriosis, but your overall health in general. And so I would just really not be doing that, and instead focus on a lot of plants. And if you have been carnivore for a while, or even if you're someone who just has like mostly animal products, you don't have a lot of plants, you're going to want to slowly increase the amount of fiber that you're having. You can't just go from one extreme to the next, because your body's not going to know how to actually break that down. fiber is hard to break down. So are animal products, but it's in a different way. And so you need to slowly start adding that in. Otherwise, you can get really bloated. And then some people will be like, oh, well, I can't have plants because I get so bloated. And it's like, well, maybe you need to give your system a second to like catch up. Some people feel like that with beans as well. So give yourself some time, add things in slowly, but really make sure that you are incorporating anti-inflammatory foods, lots of fiber, healthy fats like avocado, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds. All of these are anti-inflammatory. Literally, vegetables, dark leafy greens, legumes, quinoa, all these beautiful plants that we have. This is what's going to really help reduce your inflammation levels. It's going to help lower those estrogen levels. It's going to help you flush them more out of your system. It's going to support your liver detoxification, especially the beans. It's going to help literally all of that. So get rid of the carnivore. The keto, I also would not recommend either. And prioritize the fiber, because that is what's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to endometriosis. And there's so many different levels of endometriosis as well, right? There's so many different stages of it. There's so many different severities of it. Sometimes you do need surgery with it. There's other factors in it too, like not having alcohol. That's huge with endometriosis as well, because one alcoholic drink increases your estrogen by about 10%. So there's so much more than just the food aspect of it as well. Proper supplementation, of course, there's a lot that goes into it, which obviously I teach you everything in the Mind Your Hormones method. But I don't want you to get caught in this web of carnivore, of liver organ meats and all this stuff, and really zoom out and be like, well, if it's an inflammatory disorder, how can I reduce my inflammation levels? If I have excess estrogen, what are things that are increasing my estrogen levels? What are things that's going to help me lower my estrogen levels, right? And of course, there are, again, those strategic things like having more plants, not having alcohol. But then again, it goes back to that deeper level of regulating your blood sugar, reducing your inflammation so you can improve your gut and liver detoxification pathways, supporting your nervous system, supporting your nutrient density, all things that we always are talking about on this show. And a carnivore diet is not it. It ain't it, okay? And I don't actually even know how popular that is anymore, but I know if one person asked about it on TikTok, there's somebody else who is maybe thinking the same thing or trying it, because I know that you will do whatever it takes in order to get pregnant. In order for your IUI to work, your IVF to work, just to get pregnant naturally, I know you'll do whatever it takes. And so you might be trying all these different things. You might be like, well, it's not working. Someone told me to do carnivore diet and it's not working. Someone told me this and it's not working. And so maybe you have tried it, or maybe you're thinking about trying it. And I want to please urge you to not do that and do your own research on it. Do your own research on it. If you're understanding the mechanics of what endometriosis is, does a carnivore, all animal-based diet actually make sense for it? Is that anti-inflammatory? Hell no. Is that going to help lower your estrogen levels? No. Right? So if you just take your knowledge and actually apply it to this and think about it strategically, it's like, okay, well, if the main driver for endometriosis is inflammation and is these high estrogen levels, what makes sense? What kind of diet and lifestyle would actually help support this, rather than I just need protein, I just need a ton of protein, just got to eat meat. There's too many like phthalates or whatever in fucking plants. It's like the healthiest people on the planet in the blue zones are eating a mostly plant-based diet. Plants have literally been around forever. They just are demonized for so many other reasons. And again, this is not to say that you can't have any animal products. You absolutely can, but you need to really be thinking about, well, what makes sense for the nature of what endometriosis is, the root cause of what it is. And it's not just as simple as just having plants, right? I want to be super sensitive about that, because everybody who has endometriosis is going to be experiencing it differently. And there's different severities of it, and there's a lot that goes into it. But this is one of the ways that it can absolutely help you. I've had clients with endometriosis where they literally could not get out of bed because they were like literally taking painkillers because they were in so much pain, to then go off and be able to go to yoga on day one of their cycle, right? So it is possible to heal it with proper support, with strategy. And it's not just plant-based, right? Because this client I was talking about was already plant-based. But what she wasn't doing was regulating her blood sugar with it. She wasn't having enough healthy fats, right? So it's not just like, oh, eat plants and you'll be good. So I don't want that to get misconstrued. But what I do want to be very clear is please don't be carnivore. Like that is so not, for no matter who's listening to this, whether you have endometriosis or not, but you likely do if you're listening to this episode. Because we need fiber. We need fiber for your overall health and wellness, especially for your hormones, for endometriosis, for all of it. Okay. So, and that's that on that. Super quick episode, but I had to have this living on the podcast here. And again, I'm going to also, and for keto too, really quickly, healthy fats are super, super important, but something with keto that is really an issue. I don't even know, again, like if people still doing this, I guess if someone's asking about it, but it's like, well, as long as it's a fat, it's good. It's like, okay, so we'll have bacon and we'll have all this stuff. And I'm like, no, like that is not a health food. And just because, it's getting ketosis, you can have any of these fats. It's like, absolutely not. We have to start like questioning things, thinking about things strategically. Like, is this something that's actually going to support my health? Is this anti-inflammatory? Is this regulating my blood sugar? Is this causing a stress on my body? Is this going to support my detoxification pathways, my gut and my liver? Or is this going to make it worse? Like, start asking yourself these questions instead of just blindly doing something because someone told you that it worked. Even anything I tell you, like, ask yourself the questions to see like if it makes sense for you and for your goals and for how you want to feel in your day-to-day life. So just because, let me just have like a ton of bacon because that means I'm keto so I can have it. It's like that. It's literally carcinogenic. So what are we doing? You know what I mean? Okay. So that's that on that. I'll link below the previous episodes I've done on endometriosis to help support you. I will link the Mind Your Hormones method. You could always use code podcast for 10% off. Highly recommend that if you have endometriosis as well. And if you're eating carnivore or keto, start switching that shit over and start asking yourself the questions of, well, what is actually going to support me if I'm looking at what endometriosis is on a root cause level. Okay? I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode and learned something valuable, please share it with a friend who you think would also love it, or post it on social media and tag me so I could personally say thank you for helping me spread this important message. I am beyond grateful to be here with you. So until next time, stay intentional, stay consistent, and always mind your hormones.